Does the screen work? Are there any dead pixels on the screen? Does your battery for your MacBook Pro, does it even hold a charge? All of these details you're going to want to know before you purchase your Mac. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Brett. For those of you who are new to this channel, if you're in the market to purchase a Mac computer, I'd like to give you some tips, some things to look out for when purchasing Mac computers. There's a Mac computer out there for you. We want to talk about today some of the things you want to be looking for.
I don't know what to buy. There are too many choices. Why is this so hard?
Now, there's so many different things between choosing a used versus a new Mac computer. With a new Mac computer, there's no mileage on it. You have full battery life if you're using, or if you're purchasing a MacBook Pro. All of these things are kind of taken care of because it's brand new. However, with used computers, you may have had, well, hopefully you've only had one person to have owned that computer before you purchase it. So I want to be really honest here. Every Mac model that is used will eventually become obsolete. What this means is it will not be able to be supported by Apple. You won't be able to update the OS X or install the security patches for that used Mac. So you want to just definitely be careful when you're purchasing used. It's actually not a good idea to invest in a used Mac that is over 3 years old. What happens is Apple tends to support its computers for about 6 years. This is 2021. So we're talking around a 2017, a 2018. This is my advice. I do have older Macs. They work perfectly fine, but just so you are safe with your purchase, I would not purchase a Mac that is older than 3 years. These used computers will more than likely have the Intel processor. Apple is kind of moving away from the Intel processor. I don't know what this means, but it's possibly I will eventually have to update my used Macs as well.
An Apple product a day keeps the broke people away.
Apple is phasing out their Intel processors. 3 years is going to deduct about $300 to $400, maybe even more depending on your processor speed or your RAM. It's going to give you a good discount on your Apple computer. Just know, again, your operating system, it manages all of the software and hardware programs on your computer. So with these used Macs, you're constantly juggling software updates. You're trying to make sure your security dates are all up to date, your operating system is in functioning form, and that all your software programs, your third-party software programs, are compatible with the operating system you are currently using. If you happen to be in the market for new Mac computers, these operating systems, the updates, you want to make sure they're also compatible with those third-party software programs. A lot of times, third-party software programs run a little behind Apple's updates. We've talked about operating systems and we've talked about updates and making sure the Mac is updated. Let's go here. Now you have pretty much a choice. You have the choice of the iMac. You could choose the MacBook Pro, or you could go with the Mac Mini model. I've researched plenty of times already. Generally what you will see is your iMac models, the used models, run a little bit cheaper than your laptop models. I don't know if that's a surprise to you, but that's another bit of information you want to just consider. Those MacBook Pros are going to be priced a little bit higher than the iMac itself. MacBook Pro computers, let's talk about it. So your MacBook Pro, whether you know it or not, or believe it or not, this MacBook Pro that is used, it has a battery life. And when the computer is first given to the purchaser, the battery life is pretty much at 100%. So what happens over time is the battery life decreases. Depending on how old your MacBook Pro is, your battery life is not going to be at 100%, which means that once you have charged your computer, the life of that battery will not last as long as it would have if it were new. And this is important because with used MacBook Pro models, your battery life will start out at 7 or 8 hours. If you get or receive a MacBook Pro, or you purchase a MacBook Pro that is used, the battery life will be decreased greatly. The health and condition of your MacBook Pro's battery is very vital. There's a cycle count, and you can find that on the machine that you're purchasing. These MacBook Pro batteries do not last. They will eventually conk out on you. The 2016 MacBooks, they've lost all of their ports with the exception of the Thunderbolt 3. The 2015 models are a little bit more versatile in their ports than the 2016 models. So ports are important when it comes to purchasing your MacBook models. If you're purchasing used, more than likely you will need to purchase an adapter. I don't even know what this is. This is a Thunderbolt. It's a Thunderbolt adapter. I've researched it before. I have 100 of them sitting around here. And the reason why I have 100 of these is because my computers are used. So Apple, they are always changing and upgrading or updating their ports. The ports are what go in the back of the computer, what you hook up your adapters to or your cords to.
Take my money.
This is a headache for me. It's been a headache for me from day one. Adapters, I have plenty of them to prove it. Why am I saying this? Because it's possible you may need an adapter to go with your used Mac computer. It just depends on what software you're using. If you encounter a seller who is selling you a used MacBook, you want to ask for the About This Mac screen. Get the seller to take a snapshot of this screen. This screen gives you a detail of the RAM, the model number, the serial number, the operating system. All of these are details, so you'll know exactly what you're purchasing from this seller. There's some other things you want to consider. Check the ports. Do the ports work? Check your keyboard. Are there any missing keys on the keyboard? Is your screen? Does the screen work? Are there any dead pixels on the screen? Does your battery for your MacBook Pro, does it even hold a charge? All of these details you're going to want to know before you purchase your Mac. It's going to put you ahead of the game. Just because the seller says the Mac is a 2015, do not take their word for it. Ask for this screenshot. If they don't give you the screenshot, don't purchase. I really don't fault the sellers. Some sellers just don't have the knowledge. They don't know what Mac they're even using. You know, they purchased it when they purchased it because it was the new and greatest thing. That, of course, is old now, or that computer is old now. But some sellers just don't have or don't know what specs are in that Mac computer. The most important thing you want to know is if you're going to get a used Mac, make sure they show you that the screen is on, that they turn on the computer, it boots up and it boots to the startup window and into your desktop. This seems so obvious, but please do that. Don't try to buy a Mac and you see the pictures. The black screen may mean it's not turning on.
Okay. This is a charger. It's all good. Kind of beat up. But again, used computer. You take what you can get. There's a book. Another book. And another book. So my Mac is not in here. So I literally got a charger and a case. A charger and a case and some books.
I've received Macs in the past where I've had to go in and reboot the entire operating system. Just make sure the seller refreshes or reboots the entire operating system. What this does is this totally erases their information or what they've been working on. When it gets to you, you've had a fresh install of the OS X. I'll say this, the seller that is selling you your Mac, you'll be able to tell if this seller is reputable if your computer or if the computer that is being sold to you has dings, it has chips in it, then that tells you exactly what type of seller you're dealing with. You should have a pristine screen. There shouldn't be any dead pixels. There shouldn't be any chips on the corner of the screen. You should be confident that this seller took care of his or her Mac while it was in their possession. Now, I hope this has been a help to you. I want to wish you good luck on your purchase. You have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Leave a comment below. Let me know what type of computer you're looking for. I'm going to leave some information for you, so maybe even some links that you can go and start this process. I want to just encourage you, take your time with it. You know, time is on your side. You have all the time in the world to purchase what you need. There's an enormous marketplace out there. Many sellers are out there ready to sell their Mac.